Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proceed, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. Not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
We're back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I was just trying to pin the Kelsey fund in the chat to help Kelsey heal, which I was finally able to do. I had to do it on my phone. We're back. We're back. Oh boy. I'm going to trigger warn you because if you weren't mad already today, you might be very angry by the time we finish me telling you all the things based on a new filing from Kelsey Fitzsimmons' defense team just this morning, I believe, and some new surveillance video that has surfaced from inside Kelsey's home. This is outrageous. This will outrage you. And so I'll prepare you. If you're not in the mood to take a blood pressure pill, you might not want to listen to what I have to say, but you have to listen to what I have to say because we have been saying since we started covering this case shortly after the happenings on June 30th of 2005, and the horrific things that have happened to Kelsey Fitzsimmons, there's more to this story than we know. What is going on here? What is up with Justin? What kind of connections does he have? Why is Kelsey being treated this way? Which seemed to be so much less fair than any other criminal defendant in Salem. Is it a witch hunt? Why is Kelsey Fitzsimmons not being treated like any other police officer in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? Why are most police officers fiercely protected, and yet Kelsey Fitzsimmons just wasn't? And for those of you who are like, who's Kelsey Fitzsimmons? I'll give you a very brief synopsis. Kelsey Fitzsimmons is a North Andover police officer in Massachusetts. Before that, she was a corrections officer for I don't recall how long. She also attended, I think, some law school. Very smart girl, in her 20s. Engaged to, apparently, the wrong guy. A North Andover firefighter by the name of Justin Aylaian. Kelsey and Justin have one child together. The baby's first birthday just passed, I think last week. They were engaged to be married, Kelsey and Justin were, and I have many, many shows on this case, so the playlist is linked below. They were engaged to be married. They were going to be married in October of 2025. Their baby had been born in February of 2025, a little baby boy, beautiful baby boy. We've seen pictures. He's gorgeous. After the birth of their beautiful baby boy, Kelsey Fitzsimmons suffered from postpartum depression. And the postpartum depression from which she suffered and received treatment for was so debilitating that it caused her to take a leave from her job as a North Andover police officer. Because she took a medical leave based on her postpartum depression, she had to turn in her badge and her guns, and she did so. She was cleared to return to work on July 4th of 2025. Now, on the weekend of January 28th of 2025, Justin and Kelsey and some friends and family went to Maine for a bachelorette party for Kelsey. I guess it wasn't a traditional one because her fiancé Justin was there and other men were there as well. I don't know if it was a combo bachelorette, not really sure. Doesn't really matter. But whatever happened during that fateful weekend in June 28th of 2025, Kelsey and Justin got into a fight. They got into a fight. There's always three sides to every story. Justin's story is Kelsey drank too much, and I was in fear that she was going to hurt me and or the baby. The baby wasn't there. The baby was, I think, with Justin's parents. Whatever happened, whatever it is that they were fighting about, apparently, maybe Kelsey broke up with Justin. We're not really sure. But whatever happened after that weekend, they became estranged. That was on June 28th. Justin's got a lot of stories about it. He feared for his life, so he or she had to be taken to a hotel nearby, whatever. Maybe one day we'll find out the real story, but right now it doesn't really matter for purposes of this conversation. 2 days later, as soon as Justin got home to Massachusetts, he went into court, ex parte, which means without the other side, and somehow, some way, obtained a restraining order against Kelsey by telling the court in his sworn affidavits that he was fearful that Kelsey might do something to him, and so he needed a restraining order against her. And then he also somehow got an order to take the baby away, that the baby should be taken from her, despite the fact Kelsey was ready to go back to work, and he had been fully supportive, by the way, of her postpartum depression journey. So he goes in by himself, or maybe he brings some friends with him to testify on his behalf. And in the papers, apparently he says, listen, just be forewarned that when you go to serve this restraining order against her, she might try and hurt herself or the baby. Puts them on notice. This upstanding young firefighter from North Andover. And so what happens next is on June 30th, 2025, Kelsey is home breastfeeding her baby. Her beautiful baby boy is now maybe 4 months old, breastfeeding. She's breastfeeding him on the couch, getting ready to return to work on July 4th. She had just gotten her guns and her badge back. And there's a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. She goes to the door to answer the door. And who's standing on the other side of the door? 3 of her coworkers. 3 male police officers from North Andover. First one comes in, waving a piece of paper around. We saw the surveillance video from inside her house because North Andover police don't wear body cam. There's no audio, so we don't really know what they said. Officer Noonan, officer number 2 who walks in wearing gloves. Officer 3 walks in, not wearing gloves. Officer 1, no gloves, waving the piece of paper around. The beautiful baby is over Kelsey's shoulder, and we can see Kelsey from the back, the baby, facing us. And the 3 of those guys just walk in. That's the only surveillance footage we saw so far. What happens next is a he said, she said story. Kelsey says she asked the officers if she could go upstairs. Oh, and then so they're waving the piece of paper. I'm like, hey, Kels, hey, yeah, well, we got a restraining order. Justin has a restraining order against you. Here it is. Oh, and also, we're going to take your baby away. Here's that order. Peace. Justin's going to be here in about 10 minutes to pick up the baby. Important to note, the home in which Kelsey was residing with the baby, and prior to their big fight, Justin was owned only by Kelsey in her own name because she's a very smart girl. That would not become a marital asset when she did marry him. No mental health professional comes with them. No female officer comes with them. It's just 3 big dudes and Kelsey. Kelsey's story is she says, hey, would it be okay if I pack some things for the baby? And Noonan and the officers say, yeah, okay, cool. You can. Noonan follows her upstairs to the 2nd floor. One officer remains on the 1st floor. Another officer goes to the basement to now help Justin collect some things for the baby. And Justin's inside the house, I think, at this point. There's a lot of different sides to the story. We're not really sure what's true. So Noonan is the only one who goes upstairs with Kelsey. It's important to note that Noonan is a 20-year veteran of the force. He's not a rookie. He and Kelsey, 1 year prior to this, responded to a horrific call in which a young mother brutally took her own life and her infant's life. Kelsey and Noonan had responded to this call together. Kelsey was pregnant at the time she responded to this call. She hadn't told anybody yet because it was very, very early. And clearly, both of them were suffering from severe PTSD from responding to that call, because from what I know, it was a brutal scene. So she and Noonan had gone through this shared trauma. He comes up with her. She's packing up some stuff. Kelsey's story is, I had nothing left to live for. I saw my baby, my career, my upcoming marriage all crumble before my very eyes, and I wanted to take my own life. Kelsey claims she had her firearm in her bedroom and she picked it up and she pointed it at herself, at her head. And then Noonan's story is Kelsey ducked behind the door to the master bedroom. There is no door to the master bedroom, by the way. Picked up her gun and pointed it at me. So I took out my weapon and I shot her point blank in the chest. The officer on the 1st floor hears Noonan say, Kelsey, don't do it. Kelsey, don't do it. There's 2 gunshots from Noonan, I believe. One of them strikes Kelsey point blank in the chest. She is airlifted to, I think, Massachusetts General Hospital, where she clings to life for 53 days and undergoes at least 5 surgeries. Shortly thereafter, the district attorney of Essex County decides to press charges against Kelsey. I can't remember what the initial charges were. She's handcuffed to her bed in the hospital. She's arraigned from her hospital bed. She, one of the charges was murder. Then there was assault with a deadly weapon and some other charge. Kelsey remains in the hospital for 53 days and they take it to the grand jury. Noonan must have been a witness at the grand jury. And even though most grand juries will indict a ham sandwich, they only indicted Kelsey for the assault charge with a weapon. And under the guidelines, that charge, if convicted, would entitle Kelsey to 5 years probation. However, a lot of shenanigans went on. With a judge by the name of Kathleen McCarthy Neyman. And because of the injuries, the severe injuries that Kelsey sustained by being shot in the chest by a fellow police officer, collapsed lung, lacerated liver, insertion of at least 1 chest tube, fractured ribs, difficulty breathing. After some time, Judge McCarthy Neyman says, well, I suppose we could let her out, ROR, but she's going to have alcohol testing. And in order to do the alcohol testing, she's going to have to blow into a SCRAM device, a handheld SCRAM device. You have to blow into a tube, sustained breath for a certain period of time, a couple times a day. And remember, she's got fractured ribs and a collapsed lung. And the judge finally agrees to let her out. but she doesn't let her out that day because 10 days go by and she's got to run criminal checks on everyone in the house. I think one of the people had to move out of the house. And then she gets sent home with this SCRAM monitor device, and she has to monitor for alcohol and wear an ankle monitor too, even though alcohol had nothing to do with the date in question on January 30th. As the judge is releasing Kelsey to the custody of her mother and stepfather, Tim Bradl, her attorney, who also represents Turtleboy, says to the judge, would it be okay if Kelsey has surgery scheduled for tomorrow? Would it be okay if we come in to get the ankle monitor installed to probation right after her surgery? Because I don't think a doctor's going to do it with an ankle monitor on. The judge said no. So Kelsey had to reschedule that surgery. Within 48 hours, the defense makes an emergency motion to come back to court to say, listen, we spoke to probation and there's other ways that she could be alcohol monitored, because having to blow into this SCRAM device, she can do it, but not without extreme pain for hours afterwards, because her broken ribs are still healing. She still has a lacerated liver. She had a collapsed lung, insertion of a chest tube, etc. Would it be possible for us to perhaps have her urine tested instead? Because that would not be cruel and inhuman punishment. It is incredible that she's alive. And the judge says, oh, even though the probation, assistant chief of probation got up and testified, said she's not in violation, I wouldn't violate her. She hasn't failed any tests. But it is painful because I've seen it, Judge. His name is Jeff January. Put a pin in that. Judge McCarthy Neyman, in an audio-only recorded hearing, says, well, I would not want to subject her to cruel and inhuman treatment, Mr. Bradl. So she's going back to jail. So she gets sent back to jail, to Chicopee Women's Prison, where she may or may not have had a confrontation with another inmate. They may have been treating her poorly. It was a 2-hour each way to court, every time she had to come to court. She has not seen her baby since June 30th. She missed her baby's christening. She just missed her baby's first birthday, and she hasn't seen her boy since June 30th. And we're like, what? Why? What is going on here? What is going on here? So Bradl and Martha Coakley, who's the former U.S. Attorney General for Massachusetts, had joined the defense team, took it all the way up to the highest court in Massachusetts, the SJC, and said, this is not only is this a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, it's a violation of Kelsey's constitutional rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Goes all the way up to the highest court to overturn this dangerousness finding and the requirement that she must blow into this SCRAM device. All of those things fail. But finally, when Kelsey's feeling a bit better and her healing has progressed to a point where she may be able to blow into this tube or at least suffer through it, they go back to court. They make a motion. And another judge reverses the decision and says, well, there's been a change in circumstances, so now she can finally go home. And she does. Bradl and Coakley then make a motion to have the judge recused because of Judge McCarthy Neyman, because even though she was transferred to civil court, she specially apparently assigned herself to this case. And they came up with some other arguments and reasons why Judge McCarthy Neyman should be recused from this case, in addition to having an ex parte meeting with Jeff January, the assistant probation chief that I told you about before, and filing a complaint against him. And in that complaint also said something about Tim Bradl. Within 24 hours of that motion being filed, the chief judge, or whoever it is, the head mofo in charge of judges in that county, said, motion's moot. McCarthy Neyman's going to be in a different place at a different time. She's not going to be hearing the case. Was it finally McCarthy Neyman that heard the motion to overturn it? I can't keep it straight. There was a male judge that was in there a couple times. But for purposes of this, maybe it was McCarthy Neyman. I don't remember. It's like a modern day Salem witch trial, and it's taking place in Salem. Immediately, McCarthy Neyman is removed from the case. Nobody knows why. We can guess. And now there's a different trial judge assigned. Today, a motion, an explosive motion, has been filed by Kelsey's team. And what you hear now about Justin and his behavior after her shooting may outrage you. People say she also had a miscarriage when she was in jail. Apparently, maybe she was pregnant. She was reassigned and she isn't on the case, and that's what Tim wanted. So that's a win. It's definitely a win. 100% it's a win. I have questions about why it was done so expeditiously. And so nobody had to hear the motion because it was just declared moot. Oh, I also forgot to tell you, if you're new to this case, that as part of his motions in the family and probate court, Kelsey had to put her house up for sale to pay her attorney's fees. And Justin made a motion in the family and probate court saying that he should be entitled to the proceeds of the sale of her home for future child support payments. I'm sorry, what? Have you hit the like button yet? Not confirmed she was pregnant. I have insiders information that she was. Don't know. Maybe or maybe not. It hasn't been any court papers, however. Okay. Here we go. This is defendant's motion filed today for disclosure of promises, rewards, and or inducements. I started reading this. Some of it will be a cold read for me, but my jaw was on the floor, so I had to stop. Here we go. Now comes the defendant, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, by and through undersigned counsel, and respectfully moves that the court order the Commonwealth to comply with Massachusetts, to comply fully with Massachusetts Rule of Criminal Procedure 14 as amended, and inquire throughout the prosecution team to secure disclosure of any and all promises, rewards, inducements, understandings, agreements, or benefits, formal or informal, made to or received by Justin Aylaian, Officer Patrick McCarthy Noonan, or any other Commonwealth witness or potential witness in connection with this case. The defense requests specific written disclosure and written notice of its compliance efforts. And this is something that is typically done in every criminal case. It is part of Brady. It is part of automatic disclosure. The Commonwealth must notify the defendant if any witnesses that the Commonwealth intends to call to testify in their case have been promised anything for their testimony. The defense requests specific written disclosure and written notice of its compliance efforts. This motion is grounded in the constitutional discovery guarantees enshrined in Brady versus Maryland, Giglio versus the U.S., and other cases. Exculpatory evidence in possession of charging police department must be automatically disclosed under Brady. We know this. We've talked about Brady a lot. We've talked about automatic disclosure a lot, and we've seen the Commonwealth withhold, destroy, and hide discovery in drawers in other cases that we've been following, inverting videos, and all applicable Commonwealth and federal constitutional and statutory guarantees. The Commonwealth's obligation extends not merely to formal immunity agreements, but to any promises of non-prosecution, unilateral forbearance from prosecution, offers of favorable treatment, or requests for such treatment that could reasonably affect a witness's credibility, bias, or motive to testify. The jury is entitled to know whether a witness avoided prosecution, received employment protection, financial benefit, or other favorable treatment in circumstances where criminal or disciplinary exposure existed. Here, the Commonwealth claims no such inducements exist, but the circumstances and the weight of the evidence strongly point otherwise. The Commonwealth's blind eye is a purposeful, brazen, tactical maneuver designed to avoid the total implosion of its case against Miss Fitzsimmons, the true victim here. I love the way Tim Bradl writes. Designed to avoid the total implosion of its case against Miss Fitzsimmons, the true victim here. The court should enter orders to ensure that full disclosure is made. The defense makes a specific request for discovery as to each of these referenced witnesses. I feel like we need a sound effect right about now. Hold on. As to each of these referenced witnesses. Justin Aylaian. Non-prosecution despite overwhelming evidence of criminal activity. Here it comes. Remember, Kelsey was shot point blank in the chest by Officer Patrick McCarthy Neyman on June 30th. On July 3rd, 2025, while Miss Fitzsimmons was hospitalized at Massachusetts General Hospital, fighting for her life after being shot in the chest, at that time, as set forth on video surveillance, Justin Aylaian forcibly broke into her residence at 125 Phillipsbrook Road in North Andover with 3 other accomplices. Let's go to the video, because if I wasn't able to show you a video that's attached as Exhibit 1, you might not believe it. Are you ready for it? Here's the video. You remember this entry from the video that we looked at when they came to knock on her door and take her baby away. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, that is. Keep special eye on the door. If you can come to your screen and safely do so, please do, because you're going to want to see this video. The timestamp at the top of the video is July 3rd, 2025. This is 3 days after Kelsey's fighting for her life at this point. They don't know if she's going to make it, I think. July 3rd, 2025 at 9:35:24 a.m. And this is the front porch camera. Pay attention to the door. Here we go. Boy, he had to break in, didn't he? Sunglasses fell off of his head. Did you see that? And he's got 1 guy, 2 guys with him. 3 guys with him. They just broke the door down. Now we get a split screen of what's going on the entryway that they just busted into, because now they're going down to the basement. Justin Aylaian and his 4 accomplices who clearly just broke into the door, and it's on film. And here they go into the basement, and it's now 9:36:11, 9:36:13, and there's all 4 of them. All 4 of them. And there it is in color. Want to see it again? Let's see it again. This is just the video that is attached to the motion. My guess is there's more, because Kelsey's dad is a security and surveillance expert. Here we go. From the top. Wow, he had his glasses fell off. He had to smash that door in so hard. Brazen. They should all 4 be charged. This is outrageous. Outrageous. Yep. What, if anything, says Jesus? I'm watching this. I don't believe it. He knew he wouldn't get charged or looked at for this. He knew he was protected. They're all down there with their flashlights from their phones on, even though there appears to be a light on. And now the color comes in. It's 9:36. Are they all firefighters? I don't know. 3 of them have the same blue shorts on. Well, that was 9:36. What time was it when they busted the door down? 9:35. Didn't take them long. Oh, you can bet. This is only about a minute worth of video. You can bet. That there's a lot more where this came from. One of them is her firefighter ex-fiance, Justin Aylaian. We know what he looks like, and we know what he took. Because we're going to get to that now, because we have the papers. Here it is. It says with 3 other accomplices. See video exhibit 1. We just watched exhibit 1. Aylaian had 4 days prior obtained a fraudulent ex parte family court restraining order from an affidavit full of lies about Miss Fitzsimmons, stealing full custody of their 4-month-old child and receiving an order that she stay away from him and the baby. In the affidavit, he swore that he lived with his parents in Stowe, Massachusetts. Given the order in his favor against Kelsey, his adversarial position in litigation against her, and her sole ownership and residence in the premises, Aylaian had no residential or possessory rights whatsoever regarding Kelsey's secure, locked property. He had no business going there and no legal right to enter. In fact, Ms. Fitzsimmons' father, an alarm and surveillance contractor, had just changed the locks and updated the surveillance system in the house after Aylaian's surprise litigation against his daughter. The locks had been changed. He filed a restraining order against her. He swore in court that he lived in Stowe at his parents' house. He had no legal right to enter into his property, to break and enter into this property, because he clearly didn't have a key. You could see him breaking into it. So, yep, he updated the surveillance system. Maybe he didn't know those cameras were there. I think if he knew those cameras were there, he wouldn't have brazenly broken in like that with his buddies. As detailed in Ms. Fitzsimmons' sworn statement, see Exhibit 2, and corroborated by Stephen Fitzsimmons, that's her dad, see Exhibit 3, Aylaian broke the front door and door jamb to gain entry. He entered with 3 other individuals. The surveillance system and alarm were immediately disabled and destroyed, causing thousands of dollars in damages. He destroyed the surveillance system and the alarm. The modem power was forcibly pulled out of its wiring. Wait for it. Aylaian stole cash, gift cards, Kelsey's passport, her personal laptop computer, and other valuables. Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding? Remember how stupid Brian Walsh was when he went and used Anna Walsh's gift cards for TJ Maxx and Home Goods to buy the supplies to dispose of her body? Do you remember? Aylaian stole evidence contradicting his family court affidavit, a handwritten letter authored by Mr. Aylaian praising Miss Fitzsimmons as an amazing mother, removed from the refrigerator to prevent its use, exposing his lies about her. Oh, but wait, that's not all. He's destroying evidence, disabling the surveillance system, pulling the modem out of the wall or wherever it's attached to, taking cash, gift cards, Kelsey's passport, her laptop, and other valuables. Are you kidding me? And evidence in the case, him writing her a letter, telling her what an amazing mother she was. Further, after stealing Miss Fitzsimmons' laptop, Mr. Aylaian brought it to his parents' residence in Stowe, Massachusetts, where it connected to the Aylaian family's Stowe Wi-Fi network, Braceland 4. From there, he accessed her Facebook, AOL, and Gmail accounts, gained entry to bank accounts, withdrew approximately $5,000, closed accounts, accessed her medical records, accessed her pension beneficiary documents, and canceled her travel reservations, redirecting funds to his own account. I'm going to let that sink in while I take a sip. And they've got the receipts on that because it's in Exhibit 4, and we're going to look at that too. Please hit the like button. Please hype this video after the live is over. And if you're on replay, try and do those things too. You can hype the video so more people know about it. You get 3 hypes a week or something like that. I don't even really know. Once again, I'm going to point out to you, this is 3 days after Kelsey was shot point blank in the chest and is clinging to life in Massachusetts General. She was airlifted there from this home. Can you say evidence tampering? Can you say evidence destruction? All of these actions were traced and readily apparent on the laptop's recorded computer history. The laptop was returned to the home at some point in Kelsey's 53-day hospitalization in what had to have been another unlawful entry, an obvious effort to conceal the computer crimes. The conduct described constitutes probable cause for, at a minimum, breaking and entering with intent to commit a felony, destruction or concealment of evidence, which is a felony carrying a penalty of up to 10 years, malicious destruction of property, also a felony, unauthorized access to a computer system, and identity fraud. But wait, there's more. Despite requests for investigation, see Exhibit 5, defense counsel's email to prosecutor, sworn statements, corroboration, and video evidence, the Essex County District Attorney's Office has declined to charge Mr. Aylaian with any offense arising from the July 3rd, 2025 incident. They don't want to prosecute him. And he's got custody of the baby. Right? Imagine a firefighter breaking and entering, stealing, destroying evidence. What's that song that we used to sing during the Karen Reed case, the trial, when we knew that people were going to go down? Do you remember? Na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. All together. Na 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 na, na na na. If there's not public outrage about this man not being prosecuted after these crimes were brought to their attention with video evidence, etc. I mean, we kind of thought the fix was in already anyway, right? I mean, we thought the fix was in. And then the fact that Judge McCarthy, Kathleen McCarthy Neyman, within 24 hours of that motion to remove her from the case, was quietly removed. Motion was moot. Wow. No agreements, emails, texts, or other writings have been provided relative to the non-prosecution. Further, requests that the matter be referred to an outside prosecutor due to the obvious conflict have been rebuffed. Well, why don't we take a look at Exhibit 5 while we're here? Here's the email that the defense attorneys wrote to the DA in Exhibit 5. And this goes all the way back to August. From Timothy Bradl on Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. To James Gubitos. With a CC to Martha Coakley regarding Justin Aylaian breaking and entering statements. Jay, please see attached Dropbox link with everything we have on the July 3rd, 2025 break-in. Video, Kelsey Fitzsimmons statement, and Steve Fitzsimmons statement. Issues, special prosecutor, ? Crimes applicable, identity fraud, 266, section 37E misdemeanor. 2, theft and concealment of evidence, 268, section 13E. 10-year felony where evidence related to criminal proceeding. Breaking and entering daytime, 266, section 18, intent to commit felony. Take your pick. It says in parentheses, take your pick. Larceny from a building, concealment of evidence, malicious destruction of property, etc. Or malicious destruction of property, felony up to 10 years. Take your pick. Please advise as to who will look into this. Thanks. XOXO Timothy Bradl. And that goes all the way back to August 26th of 2025. They've known about it since then. They've been put on notice. And yet, what have they done? Well, let's go back to the papers for that. This extraordinary leniency in a multiple felony case involving destruction of potential evidence in a pending criminal matter constitutes a considerable benefit. I'm sorry, but how do you break and enter a cop's home? She's a cop and not catch charges. Stealing her laptop. I can't wait to look at the searches and what happened on the laptop. We're going to see it. It's coming up in Exhibit 4, I think. Whether characterized as prosecutorial discretion or declination, the practical effect is the same. Mr. Aylaian avoided significant felony exposure. It strains credulity. We've got merch. That there is no discoverable information surrounding this complete abdication of prosecutorial responsibility in favor of a witness adversarial to the defense. The Commonwealth must be ordered to provide or memorialize any verbal or written discussions, assurances, understandings, or implicit agreements or positions regarding the reasoning or cause of non-prosecution. A jury is entitled to know whether a key witness stands in a position of gratitude, vulnerability, or expectation of continued protection. Why? It strains credulity. But wait, there's more. Because the next section is entitled Officer Patrick McCarthy Noonan, Non-Prosecution, Employment Protections, and Financial Benefits. Officer Patrick McCarthy Noonan shot Ms. Fitzsimmons in the chest on June 30th of 2025. The events are not recorded by police body cameras or residential security cameras. He claimed Ms. Fitzsimmons tried to shoot him. Without ever interviewing Ms. Fitzsimmons, the prosecution believed and adopted Noonan's fanciful, self-serving version of events. The Commonwealth sought to leverage the shocking allegation into an assault with intent to murder charge, 20-year felony, which was rejected and no-billed by a grand jury in favor of an entry-level superior court charge, assault by means of a dangerous weapon. That means that is the lowest charge that gets you into superior court, because the lowest court there criminally is the district court, and that's where most defendants are initially arraigned. Karen Reed was initially arraigned in Stoughton District Court. But to move it up to superior court, apparently the lowest level charge is assault by means of a dangerous weapon. But they did originally charge her with assault with intent to murder, which was a 20-year felony. The grand jury didn't bite. So they apparently did not believe Noonan's versions of events. Need a sigh emoji. In these circumstances, a 1-year probation disposition is eligible under the sentencing guidelines. The allegation that Ms. Fitzsimmons assaulted Noonan hangs by a thread held only by Noonan himself. As a result, the Commonwealth is strongly obliged to make him as comfortable as possible. After shooting his colleague, he was immediately placed on critical incident leave from June 30th, 2025 through August 27th, 2025. Upon returning to work, Officer Noonan resumed full-time duties and worked paid details. For approximately 138 days, this was the status quo. On or about January 11th, 2026, Officer Noonan failed to report for his scheduled shift and was deemed AWOL. Officers responded to his residence for a well-being check after phone calls went unanswered. Officer Noonan eventually answered the door and stated that he had taken Flexeril and did not wake up for work. Scott, if you're here, if there's any other law enforcement or retired law enforcement in the chat, would it be unusual to do a well-being check at an officer's house because they didn't show up for work, and when you called they didn't answer? Would you do a wellness check? Yeah, Scott says yes. Flexeril, right, is a muscle relaxer, right? Despite this, he received only a written reprimand. He was placed back on critical incident leave effective January 17th, 2026. He has continued to be permitted to work paid detail assignments while on leave. I mean, critical incident leave is ordinarily reserved for officers unable to perform duties due to trauma. Officers placed on critical incident leave are typically removed from active duty because they're not considered fit to perform their full responsibilities of a police officer. To defense counsel's knowledge, working paid details while on such leave is highly uncommon, if not unprecedented. In fact, the North Andover Police Department's collective bargaining agreement states, quote, "A patrol officer on limited or light duty shall not be eligible for details or overtime." And that can be found in Exhibit 6, page 4142, which talks about light duty, and it is the North Andover Police Department Union Agreement. The continuation of paid employment benefits following an AWOL incident raises serious questions regarding preferential treatment and whether employment protections are tied directly or indirectly to Officer Noonan's role in this prosecution. The details of these extraordinary arrangements are crucial to the defense. Paid leave, deferred discipline, employment protection, or internal agreements regarding discipline are tangible benefits. If any favorable treatment was extended in connection with his cooperation or testimony, it is impeachment evidence that must be disclosed. I mean, this is automatic disclosure 101. And then they go on to talk about the legal standard. Under Brady and Giglio, The Commonwealth must disclose any evidence favorable to the accused that is material to guilt or punishment, including impeachment evidence. Massachusetts courts have repeatedly held that promises, inducements, understandings, and favorable treatment, whether formal or informal, must be disclosed. These are basic, axiomatic discovery obligations. This legal duty is affirmative and continuing, meaning we shouldn't have to ask you for it. You're supposed to just give it to us. And you're supposed to keep on giving it to us all the way up to and through trial. The trial in this case is scheduled for end of March. Let me just find it in mine because I know I have it in my calendar. Trial is scheduled to begin March 23rd. And there is a final pretrial hearing next Thursday, March 5th, which we will cover. All of it. They had said originally this was only going to be a 5-day trial. So let's see if that still holds true with all of this effery and shenanigans. I don't think they have the whole, somebody said they must have the whole visit in the house on video. No, because they went downstairs and I think that's where they pulled the plug on all the surveillance equipment and the modem and all that stuff. So I don't think so. Because that's one of the things that they went there to do. It is not satisfied by silence or by the Commonwealth's unilateral determination that the information lacks materiality. When witnesses avoid prosecution, retain employment, receive paid leave, or benefit from discretionary leniency in the shadow of criminal or disciplinary exposure, the jury is entitled to assess whether that treatment influences credibility. Right? I mean, the typical example of this is the jailhouse snitch. Were you promised anything in exchange for your testimony today? Oh, well, yeah, you know, if I came in and testified, they said I would get out soon. Like the Brendan Banfield trial and Juliana Magalhaes. She was supposed to get straight out of jail free after she testified against Brendan Banfield, but the judge wasn't having any of that. The defense requires the details of these arrangements, and the Commonwealth has not provided one shred of documentation. Are you surprised? Request for relief. Wherefore, defendant respectfully requests that this court find, one, that a conflict of interest exists. That's the prosecution of Justin Aylaian requiring the appointment of a special prosecutor. I wonder if Cosgrove is available. 2, that the Commonwealth's certificate of final discovery compliance be stricken as premature. And 3, that the Commonwealth must disclose immediately and in full. Well, that's interesting. Commonwealth already filed its certificate of compliance, which, as we know from many other trials we've covered in Massachusetts, the defense's obligation to turn over discovery does not begin until the Commonwealth files its certificate of compliance saying, we've given you everything we have. You have it all. But now the defense is asking that the Commonwealth must disclose immediately and in full any non-prosecution agreements, charging declinations, discussions, or understandings regarding Justin Aylaian, any immunity, leniency, assurances, or favorable treatment extended to Mr. Aylaian, all personnel, police, medical, and other records concerning Officer Noonan's critical incident leave status, disciplinary actions, AWOL investigation, internal affairs findings, and authorization to work paid details, any communications between prosecutorial authorities and law enforcement concerning employment protections or disciplinary handling related to Officer Noonan, any other promises, rewards, inducements, benefits, or favorable treatment provided to any witness or potential witness in this case. The defendant further requests such other and further relief as justice requires, dated February 25th, 2026. That's yesterday. It was filed today. XOXO, Timothy Bradl and Martha Coakley. But wait, there's more. There's more. But let's go to the chat because you guys are furious. See, you're furious. A lot of new members. Welcome. Rad's Rider. Welcome. Cam 616 Love. Welcome. I am Kay. Fish-tastic Fish Fits. Thanks for your 10. Melanie, I just sent you an email outlining the Massachusetts laws that Justin Aylaian broke, along with the sentences for each of these charged and convicted. Hope this is helpful. Links included. Thank you very much. I do not click on links that people send me because that's a great way for hackers to get into your computer. I suggest that you do not do it either. But I have the statutes, and I think it was set forth in the papers that we just read. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate your 10. Tracy says, plus he drained her account of $5,000 and tried to change the beneficiary on her life insurance. Well, we'll get to that soon. I don't think it said life insurance. I think it said that he tried to access her beneficiary pension documents, but that could have something to do with life insurance. We'll see it because we're going to go to that exhibit. We still have more to go through. Mike M says, welcome to the blue wall. Thank you, Mike, for your super chat. Bridget says, Melanie. Just in it for the money. Thank you, Bridget, for your 10. Laura says, hello. She's a cupcake forever. She's been here for 19 months, popping in on her lunch break. Hi, Laura. Thank you, Graham Tam, for gifting a membership. Thank you, Teacup Kraken, for becoming a new member. And Seize the Day says, am I the only one that thinks that it's sus that Noonan only wore gloves? It's been pointed out both ways that sometimes that would be common for them to wear gloves. And some other people think that he wore them for a specific reason. And so I can't think that there's anything nefarious as 100% with 100% certainty, but I like the way you're thinking. Thank you, Nona 3, for gifting a membership. I love you so much. Oh, 18-wheeled Maligator Crate is here. He gifted 5 memberships. He said he was going to be at a truck stop. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. And also telling me yesterday when we were covering that crazy story about the Quick Trip, that Quick Trip is a truck stop, right? So you must, wherever you travel, I guess it's regional because we don't have Quick Trip here on the East Coast as far as I know. But in Arizona on Saturday, I covered a crazy story yesterday. It's a great story. It's a heartwarming story about an Amber Alert for a 2-year-old that was thwarted by some quick thinking movers who saw what looked like the little 2-year-old girl that was missing and blocked the vehicle in with their moving truck. And also thanks to some very quick thinking, Quick Trip employees. And then we learned that Quick Trip, the corporation, trains all of their employees in what to look for with regard to sex trafficking and things like that. So it's a safe place to go. If you ever need a safe place to go, find a Quick Trip and go there. And also the guys from the moving company were all trained in such things as this. Thank you for pointing that out and for gifting 5 memberships because you're awesome. Cynthia Lynch says, prayers for Kelsey's strength. She's out. She's residing with her mom and her stepdad. And it's like one thing after another. Justin Aylaian's PR firm says, can feds file charges if the DA won't? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know what the federal charges would be. I haven't looked into it. It's a great question. Remember, it took the feds to step in to arrest Matthew Farwell for the murder of Sandra Birchmore and her unborn baby because the state wouldn't do it. I don't know if they could get federal jurisdiction in this case. I'd have to research it, and I'll get back to you. Angie says, thanks for continuing to cover Kelsey's case. Just want to make sure you know that Kelsey has a hearing tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you very much. If I can cover it, I have it in my calendar. And if there's going to be a camera in there, then we can cover it live. So that is, I have it on my hearing. I have it in there for tomorrow. It's a motions hearing. I don't know if it's this motion though, right? Might be other motions. I'm not really sure. I have to look into it and get the calendar, but I do have it in my calendar. And I intend to cover it if there's going to be a broadcast. Thank you so much for your 5. And Dr. Jennifer Toxic, thank you for your 5. BMO says, since they've known about this since August, does this mean that they've been trying to get the discovery from the Commonwealth and have to submit this motion now due to noncompliance? Thank you, Mel. I think there was strategy involved here. First of all, remember what was going on in August. And I would have to go back and look at all of my timelines, but they were fighting to get Kelsey out get her released. They were fighting appeals, and they may have been waiting for the Commonwealth to file their certificate of compliance so that they could turn around and file this. That's a great point. Thank you, Beam Off, for your 10. Happy anniversary, Fairy Raven, all the way to Ireland. Salancha, my friend. You've been here for 24 months. You're amazing. And Tazo says, I'm so excited to be catching a live show. I'm so glad that you're here. Please do all the things that YouTube likes. Oh, stolen passport seems federal, says Cindy. You're thinking any sort of wire fraud is federal. Says, yacht today, Satan. Oh, girl, you changed your name. I love that so much for us. Thanks, Tazo. Yacht today, Satan. You changed your name. I recognize your adorable profile pic. Any sort of wire fraud is federal, I think. Yeah, isn't that what they usually get people on? You know, mail fraud, wire fraud, stolen passport, federal charges, health records, passport. Now you guys are thinking. All right, let's get back to the papers. And this time, let's take a look at the statement of Kelsey Fitzsimmons that was attached to this motion. Because there's always more. Just when you think we're done, we're not done. There's more. The break-in is on video. The locks had been changed. She's in the hospital. Clearly, that was a camera that Kelsey's dad installed after her shooting, her being shot. Clearly, bank theft and fraud is federal too. And people are saying, Justin, why is Justin protected? Why? Here it is, the statement of Kelsey Fitzsimmons. This is Exhibit 2. On July 3rd, 2025, at approximately 9:35 a.m., Justin Aylaian broke into my residence at 125 Phillipsbrook Road in Andover. I'm sorry, not North Andover. Justin had moved out of my home days prior. He had acknowledged that he no longer lives there in the affidavit he filed with the Essex Probate and Family Court on June 30th, 2025, while applying for the restraining order. My father, Stephen Fitzsimmons, is the owner of an electronic security company and installs burglar alarms and surveillance systems. Upon Justin vacating the home prior to the July 3rd break-in, my father changed the locks and replaced the surveillance system after the June 30th service of the restraining order and the taking of my child. Justin did not have authorization to enter my home and had just sworn to a court that he needed a restraining order to keep me away from him, yet he came to my home and broke in. And I'm going to submit to you, I'm going to break from the document for a minute, to submit to you that if there was stuff that he needed inside of that house, he's fully familiar with court proceedings. He's fully familiar with knowing how to march himself down to court ex parte and get some sort of order allowing him inside the house to get his belongings if that's what he needed to do. But he didn't need to get his belongings, apparently. Apparently, he needed to go in there and steal Kelsey's laptop and steal any evidence that she was a good mother and disable the alarm system and security system and yank the modem out of the wall. He knows how to work the court system. His parents do too. We've been over that as well. Who's driving this bus? Or who's driving this train? Casey Jones? As the video clearly shows, Justin broke my front door and door jamb in order to gain entry. He entered my home with three other individuals assisting him. Upon entry, Justin and the three other individuals are seen on video entering my basement and immediately disconnecting the surveillance system that was installed and actively recording. It's too bad there were no cameras in the master bedroom that would have captured the shooting. Justin proceeded to steal several items from my home that unequivocally did not belong to him. Some of the items he stole were my laptop, iPad, also an iPad, my laptop, iPad, my passport, and an important piece of evidence he took off of the refrigerator, a handwritten letter he wrote to me shortly before he went to court with his false restraining order affidavit stating in clear terms that I am an amazing mother and partner. Wow. Wow. This letter completely contradicts the lies and misrepresentations filed in that affidavit. It is a crucial piece of evidence that destroys his credibility by his own hand, which is why he stole it and why he is presently depriving me of its use for my defense. Well, I wonder if there was a surveillance camera in the kitchen. I wonder if he's going to lie and say, I didn't take that letter off the refrigerator. And then there'll be video of it. I am aware from my experience as a police officer and a law student. She was a law student too, that's right. That General Law, Chapter 268, Section 13E, a felony, prohibits the destruction or concealment of evidence, stating whoever alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record, document, or other object, or attempts to do so with the intent to impair the record, document, or object's integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding, whether or not the proceeding is pending at the time, shall be punished. If the proceeding involves the violation of a criminal statute, as is the case here, the punishment is up to 10 years in prison. Wouldn't that be a crazy turn of events? Wouldn't that be a crazy turn of events if Justin winds up going to jail or prison for these incidents and Kelsey is acquitted? Karma knows your address. I say that all the time. Karma knows your address. Karma knows your address. We ride at dawn, says Timoni Shortstack. Yes, it would. A little too ironic, don't you think? Karma knows your address. Once Justin stole my laptop, he then brought it to his home in Stowe, Massachusetts, where he resides with his parents. I know this because he proceeded to connect to his parents' home Wi-Fi, Braceland 4. Screenshot of internet connection included within the file. Please note, I have never before brought my laptop to Justin's parents' house. Braceland is Justin's mother's maiden name, and I have personal knowledge that is the Wi-Fi at her home in Stowe, Mass, where Justin is presently residing with her baby, who just turned 1, whom she hasn't seen since June 30th and hasn't been able to breastfeed, bond with. She missed all of his developmental milestones in the last 7 months. Missed her baby's christening, which Justin finally allowed her sister to attend, because her sister was supposed to be the godmother, and missed her baby's first birthday. Karma knows your address. Once connected to the internet at his parents' residence in Stowe, he successfully gained access to my Facebook, AOL email account, and Gmail account. Once he accessed my email accounts, he was able to gain access to my Expedia account, checking and savings accounts, beneficiary information and paperwork for my pension, patient portal for medical records, ambulance reports where I was the patient, and looked at my medical records from both Lawrence Hospital and Massachusetts General Hospital, among other things. Holy shit. Remember the motion to recuse for Kathleen McCarthy Neyman, accusing her of ex parte communications and knowing things that perhaps she shouldn't have known. And that's why she went so hard on Kelsey. What if, I'm hypothesizing here, just spitballing with you, Justin downloaded all this stuff or printed all of it up, gave it to somebody who gave it to the judge on the QT, and that's why the judge went so hard on her. Robin J says this is why she was reassigned. Three Clerk Monty says judicial collusion again. He also used my stolen computer and my identity to gain access to bank accounts, and he was able to withdraw approximately $5,000 in funds and close the accounts while impersonating me under my login credentials. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Where did he withdraw the funds to? Did he transfer them to his own bank account? Like, that would be wicked stupid. But I'm beginning to think he's wicked stupid. Just in it for the money. Just in it for the money. Follow the money. Don't I say that all the time? Follow the money. Do you hear this? This is Justin Aylaian's heartbeat right now. Justin, again, posing as me, further obtained and accessed a release form from my medical records through my Gmail account. He further accessed a change of beneficiary form for my pension through my Gmail account. Again, under my identity, he accessed my Expedia account and canceled a trip that was planned, booked, and paid for. He further accessed and received the refund for the trip into his personal checking account, again posing as me. Oh, dude, you are going down. You are going down. And the DA's office has had all of this information since August and has done nothing. 6 months they've had this information. Who's protecting him and why? Oh, this is explosive. Yeah, did he think she wasn't going to make it and he had to do all this stuff while she was still alive? Did he ever check on her when she was in the hospital? Did he ever go visit her? Did he ever call in and ask the nurses for her condition? Oh my God. None of these actions were authorized by me, and the only access to these items comes from impersonating me through my login information. Wow. I am aware from my experience as a police officer and a law student that stealing someone's identity is a misdemeanor under General Law 266, Section 37E, which provides that whoever with intent to defraud poses as another person without the express authorization of that person and uses such person's personal identifying information to obtain or to attempt to obtain money, credit, goods, services, anything of value, any identification card, or other evidence of such person's identity, or to harass another shall be guilty of identity fraud and shall be punished. I mean, we didn't even get into the hacking charges yet. This is a summary of the facts known to me and is not intended to be an exhaustive document with every applicable fact. XOXO, Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Belinda Jackson says the devil went down to Georgia and whipped back up to Massachusetts with a vengeance. Janelle says over 5,000 is a felony. Shelby says, wow, this is not what was on my bingo card ever. You guys are the snark tank for a reason. Darlene says Justin is now just in jail. Jen McAlbert can't recall, says he and his family were counting on her dying in the hospital and he would get her pension. "25 years on the job," says every media outlet there should be outside his firehouse and the DA's office. If they aren't, that tells you all you need to know. Has anybody like in the media, in the Massachusetts media, tweeted on this? Yeah, today Satan is losing her mind. Carrie P says, why did he take her passport? It's giving 5150. Oh, there's more. We're not done yet. Tom Barnes saying something that is his own opinion. Was the $5,000 a schmurder for hire payment to Cop Noonan? Well, we can't accuse anybody of anything. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, right? Maid of Question says, so he robbed her blind and then tried to force her to pay a decade of child support up front. Is that the right case? This dude sucks. Yes, yes, oh yes, oh yes. He thought that he should get in perpetuity child support from the sale of her home. I'm surprised he didn't just change the name on the deed to his with everything else, right? He thought she wouldn't survive. Justin is the reason all of this happened to Kelsey, says just Lisa G. Well, Mama says I'm seeing many, many federal issues here. FBI can and should be involved. Wasn't Justin going after Linda Kenny Bodden and Michael Bryant and like pulled their stream off the air because they were allegedly disparaging him? Am I thinking of the right case? And now it's on video. Now it's on video. I'm sorry, what? Kathy says the devil just moved from Norfolk County to Essex County. This is a witch trial. I wonder if he did change the beneficiary. It didn't say that, but he accessed it. But we've got all the internet history of everything he did. So let's take a look. Pammer says, shouldn't there be dates on the change of beneficiary form and cancellation dates if he was moving money when Kelsey was unconscious? Oh, the papers. Thanks, Pammers. Via 10. Everyone be sure to hit the like button so that everyone finds out about this. P. Lola's mom says he's such a role model for his young son. I mean, if this guy does not lose custody after this, the last thing I would want for that baby is for that baby to go into any type of foster care. But if this is not grounds for Kelsey to be able to see her baby again, I mean, what's done in the dark always comes to light. What's that quote? Gigi says, bet Justin flips on old Noonan for a break on the federal time he's looking at, invisible door included. Gigi's got her snark back. Almaniski says the Expedia account refunded to his checking. What? Yeah. He just got in there. He got into all her things and he got all her stuff and he got lots of money. And then he had the balls to file that motion to get the proceeds from the house given to him for the next 18 years or 19 years of child support that he thought he was going to be entitled to. Guess what, dude? Ain't no way you're getting custody after this. Ain't no way. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. It was at this moment Justin knew he effed up. Yep, just today. Just in time for today's afternoon stream. Just in time. Thank you, Strong Legs, for your 10. Robin, for your 10. Way to go, Kelsey. She played the long game, and now she's going to get sole custody. Hazmat Gaming says, okay, I'm just a truck driver, but why would he take her passport? If I did this to my ex, I'd be under the jail. This is crazy. Thoughts, chat, on why he would take her passport? More identity theft? because he couldn't get to her driver's license, so he needed some form of ID to pretend to be her. I don't know. I'm just spitballing right now and going by what's in the court papers. Letter on the fridge, a sign of premeditation. I think the letter on the fridge would belie his court filings that she was a horrible mother and should have her baby taken away, because it seemed to be close in time to the shooting and talked about what a great mother she was. And it's not premeditation because he took the letter after she was already shot. See what I'm saying? Giddy, he didn't have to call the hospital. He was in her medical records. Yep. Diane says he needed to access her bank box. Let me see. These are just thoughts. These are just thoughts and feelings right now. Right now, you have permission to put your thoughts and feels in the chat. Poor Kelsey and her baby. Journey of Peace says for identity theft. Maid of Questions says, fun fact, the Salem witch trials ended because the judge's wife was accused of being a witch. All fun and games until the accusation hits home. Post-meditation. I mean, there's more. Oh, Karen, I'm so sorry. Tell your mom I hope she gets better. Her 90-year-old mom fell at home and she just got to the ER. Okay. If you watch The Pit, you know, don't stay in chairs too long. Try and get out of chairs as soon as you can. Get into triage and get her in. Hope she's okay. Sending all the healing vibes to your mom. And that reminds me that The Pit tonight at 9, for those of you who choose to participate. One of the best TV shows ever. Robert says, wouldn't Expedia and other out-of-state entities he accessed qualify to charge him with wire fraud? Maybe. But the bank fraud, I think, is what's going to get him the federal charges. I'm not a white-collar crime expert. Thanks for your 10. Night says, special consideration for crimes against the disabled. Thanks for your deuce. Anna says, take the passport for a second form of ID. Right. Happy Annie said, thought he needed it to change the travel. Oh, that could be. I don't know where she was planning to travel, but that could be. Thanks, Happy Annie, for tuning in from Canada. Exo Nicole says the trip was the honeymoon and there was cameras on the porch because there's a video of the cops coming in. I didn't see an outdoor video of the cops coming in. I only saw the one from this same orientation. Thanks, Nicole. All right, but wait, there's more. There's more. On to Exhibit 3, which is the statement of Kelsey's dad, Stephen Fitzsimmons. You know, I woke up today and I didn't know what I was going to cover with you today. And then this popped off. And then we found out last minute there was going to be a hearing on the Karen Reed phones. So we covered that at 2, and now we're covering this at 4. And that's why it's hard to plan ahead when you do this, because you got to be ready to pivot for the breaking news and all the things. I'm here for every minute of it. Once again, the Kelsey Fitzsimmons Fund is pinned in the chat. If you care to donate, please do, if you can. Every dollar helps. I know we ask for a lot of money for a lot of defense firms all the time, but defense funds, but so many of you are so generous and you don't know how to help and you feel helpless. And it's a way for you to help. It's not expected. If you can help, Proctor's phones. What did I say? Did I not say Proctor's phones? That one was a 2. We already did that one today. Okay. Here it is. To whom it may concern, my name is Stephen J. Fitzsimmons. I'm the owner of Alibi Protection, LLC, an electronic security company. Important to point out that also Steve has been at every court hearing. He's always in a suit. He's always dressed up to the nines. He's been very supportive of his daughter. I think he lives out of state. I'm not sure, but he shows up and he shows up dressed. And that's the kind of dad you want, right? Hold, please. Kelsey Fitzsimmons is my daughter. On Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025, I went to the home my daughter owns at 125 Phillipsburg Road in North Andover, Massachusetts, to change the locks and install a replacement video recorder. I also changed the code to the burglar alarm system as well. This is what a good dad does. Yep. All right, Spencer, Steve Fitzsimmons. Yep. I returned to the home the following morning, July 3rd, 2025, at approximately 10:30 a.m. When I approached the door, I noticed the door was damaged and not secure. I immediately ran back to the driveway, yelling to the police, "Somebody broke in! Somebody broke in!" At that moment, Justin was present and admitted, "I broke in. It was me." What? Wait a second. We didn't hear about this in the papers. Yep, Bill Reed, Fathers of the Year, all of them. Okay, so Steve Fitzsimmons goes there at 10:30. We saw Justin break in at 9:30 and then disable everything. And Steve gets there and he's with the police. And Justin is there and he says, he admitted that he broke in. I didn't expect this. Upon inspecting the property, I noticed the burglar alarm system was destroyed. When I went to the basement, I then noticed that the alarm had its power ripped out and the siren was ripped off the wall and damaged. I then noticed the new video recorder also had its power ripped out. So coincidentally, he just went to the home the day before to install new cameras. And then the next day is when Justin and his buddies break in. Okay, cool. After repairing all the security equipment, I could not get online with the equipment. That is when I discovered the power to the internet modem was also vandalized. I then repaired all and did a full inventory of my daughter's valuables. I saw the day prior. Oh, so he was there the day before. And he did an inventory. He's so smart. She had cash in her drawer. She keeps her spare keys in and other personal items in. The day before, I saw a $100 bill and other paper money. The cash was now gone. The day before, the only things in the top cabinet of the open gun safe were Kelsey's passport and her social security card. Her passport was now missing and only her social security card remained. Wow. He probably just took a picture of the social security card because he needed her social to do all the rest of his hacking and stealing and wire fraud and bank fraud. I found it odd that a love letter stating what a great mom she was also stolen off the refrigerator. I removed her jewelry box and her social security card and brought them to my home for safekeeping. But because of the grave condition of my daughter and her still in a critical unit at the hospital, to this day, we have no idea if anything else was taken, including any jewelry from the box or any other personal items. Attached to this email statement is a video of the breaking and entering. He doesn't mention the laptop in his statement. Justin was present. He admitted, "It's me." And the cops were there and they did nothing. All right. Well, let's get on to the computer forensics. That apparently they hired an expert. Seems like they hired an expert to do this. And this is Exhibit 4. And here's her computer history from Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. Remember, I think she was in the ICU. I forget how long she was in the ICU for. Does anybody remember? She didn't have her laptop because he stole her laptop and her iPad, and she was clinging to life. And on Thursday, July 3rd of 2025, here's everything that was accessed on that computer starting at 9:46 p.m. Actually, this is all backwards, so I guess we have to go up from the bottom. Starting at 8:52 p.m., July 3rd, same day as the break-in. Here's the Braceland Wi-Fi in the bottom. Kelsey's never been to their house, and so she would not be auto-connecting to their Wi-Fi, but it was, he didn't even delete. I mean, and then here you go, starting at 8:52 p.m. Facebook Google search, facebook.com, forgot password, can't log in twice. Log into Facebook. AOL, email login. Sign into AOL. Log into Facebook. Facebook, sign into AOL, sign into AOL. Facebook, forgot password, can't log in. Facebook. Facebook, how to get my Facebook account with a forgotten password and no access to my email or phone. Google search at 9:03 p.m. Wow. Then there's some Facebook. Forgot password, can't log in. Recover your Facebook account if you can't access your account email address or phone number. Facebook, sign into AOL. And then he keeps trying to log into AOL and Facebook. A lot of forgot password, can't log in. All the way up to 9:03 p.m. How to get into my Facebook account with a forgotten password and no access to my email or phone. Recover your Facebook account if you can't access your account, email, or phone number. And then it goes on. Lots of trying to log into the Facebook and the AOL. And then at 9:10 p.m., your 360 performance savings account is closed. Your 360 checking account is closed. Kelsey, finish setting up your Apple iPhone device with the latest Google apps. This is 9:15 p.m. This is not her search history. I guess this is like her email. It looks like her Gmail account or all the things that were accessed. Then there's oh my God, are you kidding? 9:16 p.m. Reminder, Gmail, waiting for you to sign authorization to release clinical information. And there's 2 documents that are sent to review and sign. Review your statement to see important changes to your account terms. Reminder, waiting for you to sign authorization to release clinical information from Pentucket Medical, Massachusetts General Hospital, OB Obstetrics for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. 3 authorizations were sent at 9:20 and 9:21 p.m. She was in the hospital actively. If they needed her to sign some papers, they would have done it in the hospital. This is outrageous. It's Google Internet Browser History. Thank you, Julie. And then there's a couple of RSVPs that were made to Gmail. Update your payment method for Bobby. Time for a call today at 9:31 p.m. Wow. Date of birth on authorization, medical records release, ambulance report, 9:40 p.m. Sending and receiving mail. There it is. Change of beneficiary. KelseyFitzsimmons at gmail.com. Change of beneficiary at 9:43 p.m. while she's laying in an ICU bed. It was within 3 days. She's still clinging to life at this point. I don't know how many surgeries she's had. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, LTC suspension, medical records request, patient portal. He's getting into her patient portal, medical records from Lawrence, ambulance report, honeymoon. He must have canceled the honeymoon, baby. That's what the Expedia was, and then had all the money transferred to his own account. Quote for services request at 9:46 p.m. And that's all the little dribs and drabs that they're going to give for now. But you can bet that there's more. This is only Exhibit 4. Wow. Craftastical says this is massive fraud. He needs to be charged and that baby given back to Kelsey's parents. Larry says this guy's a Chris Melton wannabe. Robin says the honeymoon cancellation is huge. I Love Dogs 1970 said there's a reason Kelsey had cameras all over her house, and there's a reason why Justin was not on the deed to the house. She knew he was shady. Well, she bought the house probably, I think, before she even met him. But there's a reason that Kelsey's dad went back there to change the security system and the locks. And we don't know what it was that they were fighting about yet at the bachelorette party in Maine on the 28th of June, but I bet you that's going to come out too. And that's okay. What Willis says, the realtor, she says, I'm sure much more will come out too. Kay Willis, south of Boston, if you want to buy or sell. Call Kay Willis. She's your girl. She's been here for 15 months and she's awesome. Mel, stealing passport and bank fraud, federal crime. Thank you, 2 Cute by Half, and for your 7-month journey with me. Chris K says, a crime with video evidence not being investigated. No, but remember what's, well, that's ironic, isn't it though? Because all of us, the public, the general public, back around January 29th, 2022, we were all told that there was video evidence. Ring camera doorbell footage of Karen Reed hitting John O'Keefe with her car. Law enforcement sources say there's ring camera footage of the incident. And I quote, I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote. It was on all the news stations. And so many of us, including me, heard about the girl who backed into her boyfriend and left him in the snow. And there's video of it. Like, oh, wow, that's tragic. There was no video of it. This one, there's actually video of the crime being committed. And the district attorney has done nothing since being put on notice of this in August. Thank you, Chris, for being here for 4 months. Relationship between the judge and the officer. Right. That was one of the things argued in the motion to recuse. Her name is McCarthy Neyman. His name is McCarthy Noonan. Are they related? We don't really know. I mean, yeah, McCarthy's a very common name. But we don't know what we don't know, right? Thanks for being here for 27 months, Cindy B. Strongleg says the totality of all this shows Justin used the courts to maliciously commit fraud and kidnapping. The dots connect. They need to have an emergency hearing on this. You think? You think they need to have an emergency hearing on this? I move for an emergency hearing on this. Like now. Thank you for connecting the dots, Strong Legs, for your 10. Eric Clark says, innocent until proven and all, but the original story sounded so convoluted and fishy that I was certain that the father was in the wrong. I just don't know the why. Sorry, but sounds cuckoo. Thank you, Eric Clark, for your 10. Gypsy Soul Astro Photo says, passport to submit for proof of identity for document changes. Likely. Yes. Likely. Yes. Thank you for your 10. P. Lola's mom said he needed his name on things for him to receive Social Security benefits, pension benefits after her death. He was pre-planning. That's motive, isn't it? Well, did he expect her to die? I mean, he did these things after she had already been shot. So we can't say that he was pre-planning her shooting, right? But if he was able to access her medical records, and at that point her medical condition looked dire, just in it for the money, wanted to make sure that in the event of her death, all the money went to him, seems. I thank you, Pilo's mom, for your 5. Oh, for your comment. Thank you. Oksana's here. She's my queen. She's my Dave Matthews buddy from Cancun. We were dancing in the sand, girl, weren't we? Thank you, Oksana, for your 20. She says, pure rage. What world is this? That poor baby is going to grow up and learn about outrageous crimes by his father against his mother and him. They better free Kelsey of all charges tomorrow and reunite her with her baby boy. Every day we find something new to be outraged about. Every day. And so I'm glad that I'm not covering the Corey Richins trial, because you need to be available for things like this, for breaking news like this. And it's really hard to do when I'm covering a live trial. And also, spoiler alert, Corey Richins is guilty. There's not a lot of nuance in that case for me. If you see any nuance, please tell me. But I need to be available for the outrageous breaking news. And I'm so glad that I am today. Thank you, Oksana. I love you with all my heart. And Goldie Metal is here, and she says, I love you with all of my yacht. And I'm like, that's a shirt. Thanks, Goldie Metal, for being here. Jaded for Justice says, Justin broke in twice to put the laptop back. Right. He put the laptop back. No big whoop, no biggie. I broke in. I stole it. I destroyed everything. I just destroyed the cameras, the surveillance system, so that I could come and go. I could have unfettered access to come back and do whatever I want, whenever I want. But I put it back after I accessed her medical records, changed the beneficiary on her pension. This is wild. Thank you for tuning in from Canada, JD for Justice. 2Q Pie Half says, love you, Melanie. We should get this info to Ted Daniels. HIPAA is a federal crime. Kelsey will be rich, suing all the companies he broke into. Well, I don't know if she's got a case against them, but she certainly has a case against him. I'm sure by now. I mean, we've been on here for an hour and 41 minutes. I'm sure somebody has tagged Ted Daniels somewhere. And this has been actually broken. It was broken, I think, around 10 or 10 a.m. So it's been out there for a little while. Will he cover it? I don't know. There's not a lot of mainstream coverage on the Fitzsimmons case. Are there any reporters out there who have been even reporting on this in alleged mainstream media? Thank you for your 10. No such thing as a perfect crime says, imagine that pit in his stomach when he realized he was caught. Oh, to have been a fly on a wall when this happened. Yeah. Right. Great point. As an EMT firefighter, he knows all about HIPAA. Thank you. No such thing as a perfect crime. Erica Frieder, thank you for your 20. You're amazing. KLM says maybe his dad didn't know about the laptop at the time that the report was taken. Well, but he just filled out this. Statement for, I think, for this motion, unless this is a prior statement, but maybe because he didn't have personal knowledge at the time of that laptop being stolen, they couldn't put that in his affidavit, right? That could be. Exhibit 6 is the 46-page agreement, collective bargaining agreement between the town of North Andover and the New England Police Benevolence Society, or association, which I don't think we need to look at today. Great point, Caleb. Thank you for your 5. Paula E, 1968 says he wanted the passport so he could get the baby a passport in order to leave the country. I had that feeling too. I thought about that too. Because in order to get a passport for a minor of that age, you would need to have both parents consent if they're not married, I think. And that's what I was thinking too. It did cross my mind. I can't say that that's 100% true, but you and I think alike. Thanks for tuning in from across the pond. Christy Painter's daughter said medical record changed to DNR, perhaps. Or maybe he just wanted to find out if she was critical and how much longer she was going to be around. Kim says how this woman is maintaining such composure. I know. And she's known about this apparently for a long time, since August. And she's able to go to court, put a happy face on. Will he admit to his crimes or take the fifth? Will he even be charged, I think, is a better question. Masters of Criminology. The Kiwi Crypt Keeper says, new song, Oh, When the Feds Come Marching In. Oh, when the feds come marching in. Thanks for tuning in from New Zealand. Marsha, the animal lover, says Massachusetts has some crazy people. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they do. And some of the calls are coming from inside the house. They sure are. If you're just tuning in, you might have missed the surveillance video showing the breaking and entering of Justin. So I've got it still up on the screen. I'm going to show it to you again for those of you who might have missed it. This is the breaking and entering video of Just in It for the Money Aylaian. 3 days after the shooting of his beloved Kelsey Fitzsimmons while she was clinging to life at Massachusetts General in ICU, having undergone, I don't even know how many surgeries, after being airlifted from this very home where she was shot in the chest by police officer Patrick McCarthy Neyman. This is on July 3rd, 2025, 9:35 a.m. This is the front porch camera. And watch as Justin and his 3 buds come busting into this house because the locks have been changed and new cameras have been put up that he didn't know about. Watch him bust the door down. Whoa! That's Justin, right? 1, 2, 3 accomplices. Are you kidding me? And you can see that this is her dad now, like with an iPhone, probably filming his own computer screen to get this footage. And then they go down to the basement. And here they go down into the basement. And what do we know? What do we know that they did? Well, we know that they disabled the cameras. They disabled the security system. They ripped the modem off the wall. We don't know who his accomplices are. We don't know if they are also firefighters in North Andover. Right, Melissa. Her poor dad would not have wanted to leave her bedside, but he knew he had to protect his daughter's home. Right. Right. True Crime Justice says there's someone else outside. Hey, listen, I know you guys are armchair detectives. I know that you're going to maybe figure out who those other guys are. Carmen knows your address. SV says Massachusetts gives custody to fathers 85% of the time if the men want it. Really? I don't know about those statistics. I don't know the truth and veracity of those statements. Oh, please. Masters of Criminology says, do you think he will admit to his, we covered that. Thank you very much. I don't even know if he's going to be charged. And everybody's like, no, they don't. No, they don't. 85% of the time men get custody. No, they don't. I thought dad said she was still in the hospital. Maybe I misheard. She was still in the hospital when the house was broken into. Yes. She's not still in the hospital now. No, now she's been released to the custody of her mom and stepdad. Evolve My says, now who's a flight risk? Now who's a flight risk? Remember that when those kids, those teenagers broke into a home, and I think it was in Canton around Thanksgiving. I forget which Thanksgiving it was. Maybe it was 2024. And a bunch of teenagers broke into a home of one of their classmates, and it was under construction. And they did hell a lot of property damage inside that home and were stupid enough to film themselves doing it. Holes in walls, kicking things. I mean, tons of destruction to the inside of that home. And were charges ever brought against them? What are they rolling, Canton? Massachusetts in general was quietly settled. The parents of the teenagers paid some money. And nobody was prosecuted. Attorney Kelly says, when the father realized the break-in and he admitted it, the police were there. Are you kidding me? WTF, firefighters and police officers, they're tight. Thanks, Kelly. Pre-10. Hi, Tom CPU. What would the story be if Kelsey passed away? Rhetorical. Thank you, Tom. Raider Cav says breaking in isn't a crime, but journalism is. There's a t-shirt idea. No, identity theft. I mean, bank fraud, wire fraud. I mean, there's a lot of things we thought of. Rerouting, honeymoon refunds to your own account. Hacking. Did they prosecute hacking in Massachusetts? Asking for a friend. Or do they just look the other way? Or does it depend who you are? Kimberly says, disgusting, rather hacking her account and stealing money. Shouldn't he be caring for the child he stole from her? Who is caring for the child? This little 1-year-old toddler. Well, he's out breaking and entering with his buddies into the home his fiancé kicked him out of. I have so many questions. Thanks for your 5. Optopop, it says they all wore the breaking and entering uniform except one guy. Looks like a basic workout uniform, like what a government agency might issue to members. I'm sure you guys will be analyzing this video. I know Richie was watching. Robin says, now watch Justin's parents say they had nothing to do with their son. Right. I mean, oh, thanks, Em. Well, look at NBC 10 doing the Lord's work and actually covering this story. Hold on. Thank you, Emily C., for sending this to me. Let me just suffer through the commercial so that we can take a look at something that was just published 19 minutes ago. Oh, I wonder if they learned about it from me and you guys. Let's go to the video. Oops. Wait, stop. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Nope. Play. Oh, don't do that. No. Here we go. Breaking news.
Lawyers for Kelsey Fitzsimmons have filed a new motion to bring new evidence into her case.
Gotta rewind it.
Breaking news.
Okay, we're following this breaking news right now at 4:09. Lawyers for Kelsey Fitzsimmons have filed a new motion to bring new evidence into her case. So Fitzsimmons' legal team is accusing her fiancé of breaking into her home. And this is actually video you can see of that alleged break-in. She claims he stole money from her as well as her passport during.
Breaking news at 4:09 p.m. That's so funny. I went live at 4 p.m. I think mainstream media realizes that nobody watches them anymore and that everyone goes to YouTube for the facts and the breaking news. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maz is here. He knows it.
Several people walking in. According to Fitzsimmons, this happened just a few days before she was shot.
No.
That happened back in June. Fitzsimmons was shot by a fellow North.
No, that happened a few days after she was shot, you dumb Fs. This is why mainstream media can't be trusted. This happened 3 days after Kelsey Fitzsimmons was shot. Hello? Can I get some Cardi B in the chat? Wow, you're breaking a story and then you're getting the most important details wrong. She was clinging to life at Massachusetts General Hospital after being shot in the chest by a fellow police officer who's the only police officer here being protected, by the way. Listen to this again. I mean, it's right on the Chiron. July, you couldn't do 2 seconds of due diligence.
And she claims he stole money from her as well as her passport during this. Several people walking in. According to Fitzsimmons, this happened just a few days before she was shot.
No.
That happened back in June. Fitzsimmons was shot by a fellow North Andover police officer who was serving her a restraining order that was filed by her fiancé. He claimed, she assaulted him and threatened the life of their child.
Wow. Wait a minute. What? Hold on. Let's point out everything that's wrong with this breaking news story by NBC 10. Well done to you for your 3 seconds of due diligence. Oh my God, that makes me so mad. Does it make you mad or am I overreacting? Like you can't get it right. You can't get it right because you were so 9 minutes after I went live with this, you're posting this on your website. Like you got to break the story and You're not breaking the story, number one, and you're
News
getting
right now at 4:09. Lawyers.
Listen.
Breaking news.
Okay, we're following this breaking news right now at 4:09. Lawyers for Kelsey Fitzsimmons have filed a new motion to bring new evidence into her case. So Fitzsimmons' legal team is.
She's not filing a motion to bring new evidence into her case. She's filing a motion to force the Commonwealth to disclose under the rules of evidence and the automatic disclosure rules and Brady to disclose whether Aylaian and or Officer Patrick McCarthy Noonan have been promised any rewards or inducements for their testimony. Okay? That's what the motion is about. If you want to know the real story, come to me. Give me a break. I mean, what station does Ted Daniel work for? This is News 10. Listen to this again. You just heard the real motion from me. We read it together.
Case. So Fitzsimmons' legal team is accusing her fiancé of breaking case. Motion to bring new evidence have filed a new motion to bring new evidence into her case. So Fitzsimmons' legal team is accusing her fiancé of breaking into her home, and this is actually video you can see of that alleged break-in. She claimed
Alleged? I mean, well, they have to say alleged. I mean, they're mainstream media, but he broke the freaking door down and he lost his sunglasses, and there's video of it, and her father changed the locks.
he stole money from her, as well as her passport during this. Several people walking in. According to Fitzsimmons, this happened just a few days before she was shot. That happened back in June. Fitzsimmons was shot by a fellow North Andover police officer who was serving her a restraining order that was filed by her fiancé. He claimed, she assaulted him and threatened the life of their child.
Wow. Yeah. And guess what else they did? They took her baby away too. It wasn't just about, filing a restraining order against her. See how they painted it? So like, she's the one. She's the one. It's her fault. They took her baby away too, by the way. Let's see what it says. Let's see what their print says. Well done to you 20 minutes ago. North Andover officer facing assault charges says fiance broke into her home. Okay, well, number one, he was no longer her fiance. Be in trouble. Hi, sweet P. Says they just can't sweep this under the rug. It was her ex-fiance. He had already filed a restraining order against her and gotten an ex parte order to take the baby away, which resulted in her being shot. And here's their print portion. New court filings in the case of a North Andover officer facing assault charges after she was shot in a confrontation in her home reveal new allegations against her fiance, who obtained the restraining order that set off the incident. Okay. What it doesn't say here is that she was shot by a fellow officer. It does say she's the one facing charges, though, right? Kelsey Fitzsimmons has pleaded not guilty to a charge of assault with a dangerous weapon for a June 30th armed confrontation at her Phillipsburg Road home, during which she was shot, by a fellow officer as police were serving her with a restraining order and informing her that her fiance was obtaining court-ordered custody of their son. Her fiance claimed she assaulted him and threatened the life of their child, right? And we have since learned that nobody ever said that in any of the original papers, that she threatened the life of her child. Fitzsimmons and her lawyers have previously pushed back against the police account of what happened on the night of June 30th, with Fitzsimmons previously saying she never, as alleged, pointed her gun at other officers, claiming only that she pointed the weapon at her own head. And again, if you are in crisis, please text 988. In a motion filed Thursday, Fitzsimmons' legal team said her fiance broke into her home after she was shot, breaking down the door and cutting off the Wi-Fi and surveillance system. They further allege that he stole her laptop and used it to transfer $5,000 to his personal bank account, canceled a trip booked on Expedia and refunded it to his personal bank account, accessed her personal medical records, accessed her Facebook and personal email account, accessed pension and beneficiary information, stole her passport, and stole a letter he wrote calling her a good mother. Her attorney provided surveillance video to NBC 10 Boston that shows the alleged break-in. It shows a man apparently breaking down a door to the home and entering with several others following. The men can also be seen inside a basement area just before the video cuts off. Fitzsimmons is currently in an active custody battle with the father of her child. The defense's right. She must be making it up. The defense's motion also took aim at the colleague who shot her, alleging that the officer has been placed on paid leave twice, yet still worked details and collected overtime for them against their union agreement. Fitzsimmons is currently scheduled to go on trial on March 23rd. A North Andover officer jailed in connection with shooting that occurred at her home over the summer has been released months after she was first taken back into custody over her inability to take a breathalyzer test as part of her conditions. Oh, see, let's watch that video. But it says Fitzsimmons was freed on personal recognizance back on September 8th with several conditions, including court-ordered alcohol testing. She was taken back into custody just days later. Oh, yeah, it was 9/11. I remember. After her lawyers submitted an emergency motion asking the court to modify the terms and conditions of her pretrial release, saying the SCRAM system that she was ordered to use for alcohol testing required her to blow intensely. We know all of that. That motion prompted an Essex Superior Court judge, notice how they don't name her, Judge McCarthy Neyman, to vacate the court's prior order. She ordered Fitzsimmons back into custody to be held without bail due to dangerousness. She was jailed for months, but released at her last hearing in December after establishing that she was now healthy enough to take the breathalyzer test. So she wasn't released until December. All right. Well, there they are getting it wrong, but at least the print portion of it was mostly right. US Lily says, this is so outrageous. Thank you, Queen Cupcake. Thanks for being with me for 6 months. Alicia says, Ted Daniel is Fox 25. Yeah, but is he reporting on it? Thanks, Alicia, for being here for 15 months. Tom CPU says, I'm hearing the cop who shot Kelsey is AWOL. Well, in the papers, we read that he was AWOL, and they did a wellness check on him, and he said he took a Flexeril, and then he didn't wake up in time for work. So he was placed on critical incident leave, but I don't know if you're saying that you're hearing that currently he is AWOL. Thank you, Tom CPU. I did read all the papers. If you weren't here, you can go back and listen. Friend of Dog is here and gifted 10 memberships because Friend of Dog is amazing. Okay. If you guys are sending me emails during the stream and they're too long for me to read, then I just can't read them now. But I will read them. I can't always respond to your emails, but I definitely always do read them. Thank you, Sue, for your Venmo. Says thanks for all you do. You're amazing. No, you are. Thanks, Betsy, for your 20. I love you with all of my heart. She says I'm doing the Lord's work. That was through Venmo. And okay. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. Are you outraged? Oh, is this from court today, Tiff? I think so. All right. Thank you. Karen Reitz had some after court comments after it looks like the hearing from this morning. So Mass Live was outside with a microphone and caught them. So thank you, Tiff, for sending this to me. And we can take a look at that now. Here you go. This was just published 2 hours ago. This was after the hearing that we covered this morning on the Proctor phone extraction, and whether Judge Doolin was going to allow it to be released to Karen Reed and the O'Keefes in their civil case. And here they are outside getting comments.
Just a couple quick questions. I guess, how do you feel it went in there in terms of, your argument and getting access to these records?
I think the argument is logical, and I think it was a good argument. I think Aaron did a great job. I think the judge will get it, and we'll have to see.
And why is it important for your defense in this case to get access to these records that maybe aren't about Karen, but are about defendants and others?
Look at Janet Reed looking beautiful, as always. Karen looking beautiful, as always. I don't know what this camera person is doing, but maybe you could get their heads in the shot. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is their video. That is Damon Seligson on the right of your screen. Aaron's civil attorney. He did not argue today. Today, Aaron Rosenberg argued. And there's Janet Reed. That is Bill Reed in the turtleneck behind her, and Karen Reed to your left, to the left of the screen. Happy birthday to Karen. Let's just roll this back a second.
Your argument and getting access to these records.
I think the argument is logical, and I think it was a good argument. I think Aaron did a great job. I think the judge will get it, and we'll have to see.
And why is it important for your defense in this case to get access to these records that maybe aren't about Karen, but are about defendants in other cases?
But when you're talking about the lead investigator that has a problematic content on his phone, and he had problematic content on his phone in Karen's case, it's a pattern, and it's important, and it's very necessary that we get that information so we can see what it contains.
And it shows his bias.
Right. And you guys have said that he lost his phone.
There's been a lot of lost evidence in this case, conveniently.
Look at Bill Reed's face. There's been a lot of lost evidence here, conveniently. And that's Aaron Rosenberg to the left of your screen from Damon Seligson. And Karen and her mother quietly walked off. The Reeds are such an amazing parents. Again, America's parents. They are some of the nicest people I've ever had the privilege to meet. And they are so kind and so generous and so nice. And they stand behind their daughter ferociously. Let's hear that again. It shows a pattern of conduct. I've been saying that all along, right? It shows a pattern of conduct, whether it was 8 years ago and it was a homophobic slur, or whether it was 7 years and it showed a anti-Semitic slur. It shows a pattern of conduct that goes to bias. I'm taking this back a little bit.
And it shows his bias.
Right. And you guys have said that he lost his phone.
There's been a lot of lost evidence in this case, conveniently lost evidence. And so when there's lost evidence, you've got to try and find the evidence in a different way, and extraction helps. So, when you lose evidence, it's either intentional, but if there's a pattern of losing evidence, that's a problem.
And can you just explain, I know you're waiving it for now, but what was sort of the nature of your disagreement with the Commonwealth in terms of quoting, but not publicly quoting? What was the tension point there?
It was just to what extent we could discuss the content of the documents after we hopefully are able to review them beyond court filings. So for now, our goal is to see these documents, see how they help Karen's case. If in the future we feel the need to use them in a different manner, we'll go back to the court and ask for them.
Gotcha. And Karen, how does it feel to just, this is the second time in a week that you've been back here. How does it feel, to sort of have to sit here and go through this again and listen to Michael Proctor's lawyer? And
I feel blessed to be here and to be with my family and my supporters and my attorneys, and we keep fighting, and I get to go home. Every day I leave this courthouse and I get to go home, I always feel happy. Thank you.
Yeah, because she could be sitting in prison right now.
Reports that the FBI
And yes, she's very lucky. She feels blessed. She looks great. She's gorgeous. Hi, Kelly Reed. We just covered it, Cal. Just to recap, in case you missed it, Kelsey Fitzsimmons' defense team has made a motion for disclosure of promises, rewards, and or inducements. That is part of automatic disclosure. The prosecutor must disclose anytime any witnesses in the case are promised anything in exchange for their testimony, whether it's monetarily or otherwise. Okay? We saw a video of just in it for the money breaking into Kelsey's house 3 days after she was shot while she was clinging to life. We found out him and 3 of his buddies broke in because the locks had been changed by Kelsey's dad the day prior. And then apparently Kelsey's dad showed up with police to get stuff out of the house while Justin was in the house and said to the police, somebody broke in. And Justin came out and said, oh yeah, that was me. We saw the video. Despite the fact that the Commonwealth has filed its certificate of compliance, meaning we've given you everything defense in the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case, it has now been learned through video evidence and otherwise that Aylaian broke the front door and door jamb to gain entry, that he entered with 3 other individuals, that the surveillance system and alarm were immediately disabled and destroyed, causing thousands of dollars in damage, that the modem power was forcibly pulled out of its wiring, that Aylaian stole cash, gift cards, Kelsey's passport, her personal laptop, computer, and other valuables, and Aylaian stole evidence contradicting his family court affidavit. There was a handwritten letter that Kelsey probably put on the refrigerator with a magnet that Justin wrote to Kelsey a couple of days before her shooting and him going to get his ex parte order to take the baby away and restraining order, telling her what a great mom that he was, what a great mom that she is. And so then what he also did when he took her laptop is he went on her Facebook, AOL, and Gmail accounts. He gained access to her bank accounts, withdrew $5,000 from her bank. He closed a bank account. He accessed her medical records, her pension beneficiary documents, may have changed the beneficiary on her pension documents, canceled their honeymoon, and redirected those funds for the reservation. For the travel into his own account. And then he broke in again, apparently, to return the laptop at some later date in an obvious effort to conceal the computer crimes. Despite the fact Kelsey's attorneys, Tim Bradl and Martha Coakley, notified the district attorney of this evidence of these crimes all the way back in August of 2025. Justin has never been prosecuted. And I don't even think they've ever received any sort of, response to their email. The conduct described, according to the defense, constitutes probable cause against Justin, North Andover firefighter Justin Aylaian, for, at a minimum, breaking and entering with intent to commit a felony, destruction or concealment of evidence, which is a felony carrying up to 10 years, malicious destruction of property, a felony, unauthorized access to a computer system, and identity fraud. But the Essex County District Attorney's Office doesn't want to do anything about it. Are you shocked, surprised at all? We are the lucky ones, gifted 10 memberships. You are the lucky ones. We're the lucky ones. And everyone who got a membership is lucky. Thank you for your generosity. Alienated Sharpness says, I'm outraged. Why is Kelsey the only one charged? Rhetorical. Thank you. Carrie says, hi, Melon Cupcakes. Great to see you today. Great to see you too. And Bridget gifted 5 memberships. And that's a lot of gifted memberships today. You guys are awesome and generous and amazing. And we got to see what Karen Reed said after court today, because we covered that hearing at 2:00. It's a separate stream if you'd like to go back and watch that after this and give all the love. Hype the videos, share the videos, comment respectfully on the videos, and, do all of the things that YouTube likes. Thank you so very much. Okay. All right. That's what you got to do. You got to hype the video and comment after the live ends and like the video after the live ends. And if you're on replay, you can hype, but you can't hype while it's live. Okay. All right, you guys, I love you with all of my heart. I love my moderators so much. Otherwise, I would not be able to do this without them. Thank you to the trolls for all the views and the shares and the clipping of my content. And why are you so obsessed with me? You're so obsessed with me. You hate me so much. And yet you come in here, you watch my shows, you clip them, and then you try and disparage me on the internet. It's just driving more traffic to my channel. So I don't know why you're doing that, but whatever. Stop being so obsessed and saying how much you hate me and my content, and then clipping everything and posting about me as if it's your job on a platform that I don't even engage in. It's so ridiculous. What a bunch of losers. All right. Let's I think that's it for today, right? Make sure you have your notifications set and that a watch is a watch, right? I hate watch as a watch. Who said that? Cardi B. Do all of the things. Thank you so much, moderators. I love you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to cover yet because there's always breaking news. And so now that I'm not live streaming an actual trial, I can actually come to you with the breaking news. So make sure your notifications set and they're enabled. Don't blame me if you don't get your notification because YouTube is wonky. Sometimes you got to just keep checking. That's all you got to do. All right. I love you guys. Justice for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Please donate to her if you can. Her defense fund is pinned in the chat. Go back and watch the morning stream or whatever time it was. I think it was 2 p.m. Love you guys. Peace.